All right, everybody. Welcome to our new YouTube channel, On the Air Sports channel. Today we have a special guest. Today we got the head coach of Miller football, Coach Justen Evans. And would you introduce yourself and kind of give a little history on where you come from, Coach?
Oh, how you doing? It's Justen Evans. Born and raised in Corpus Christi, Texas. Went to Moody High School, and basically been here all my life outside of going to college and playing ball for a year and then coming back. And so, just from Corpus, man, and born and raised in the community.
Yes, sir. Now, when did you decide to start coaching?
Man, I tell you what, it was back in 2007, 2006, somewhere around there, and I was working as a police officer here, and God has a way of taking you in different directions, and so you have to kind of yield to His will and what He has for your life, and so started the journey then, and always loved sports, played it, always enjoyed it, always knew that it was the path that I wanted to take when I was younger, but like I said, sometimes you have to go different routes to ultimately get to the place that God has you to be.
Yes, sir. Now, did you have any idea when you started coaching that you would do this good at coaching?
Man, I don't know if it's me. I've been blessed to coach some great kids, be in some great communities throughout this journey. Most recently here at Miller. It's been a sleeping giant here for a while. Hiring a good coaching staff, getting kids to believe in something that's bigger than themselves, which is the pride of this community, and going from there. That's how we've been able to get this turned around. I always tell them it's not about me. I'm just one person. There's no way that one person can run a machine like Miller is. You gotta have great coaches, you gotta have great kids, community's gotta be bought in, administration, everyone's gotta be working cohesively to make sure that you have success.
Yeah, as a coach, I know from being an athlete myself, we would go through our own problems, the family problems, we bring it out to the coach. It was easy to talk to the coach. So my question would be, how do you balance all the situations in the life of your players and still be able to teach them the game?
I tell you what, the game of football, really, if it's utilized the right way, there's so many teachable moments in it. You're talking about dealing with winning, dealing with defeat. How do you overcome adversity? What does your culture look like when adversity comes? How do kids respond when tough times come? And so, we're like fathers here. We're big brothers, our coaching staff, and so we enjoy what we do. We understand that kids come from different walks of life. So at the end of the day, we're really about forming transformational relationships. We don't like the transactional relationships because those are just so short term. So we try to do a really good job of building those transformational relationships so they're sustainable. They're exhausted. But with kids for sure. But when you see the residuals on the other side of it, you can really look back and say, "Hey, I made a positive impact in the kid's life."
Yes, sir. Now, one of the biggest changes when you became a coach, going forward on fourth down. What was it about going forward on fourth down that everybody had to really adjust to at first?
Man, I tell you what, all my life, man, growing up, single mom, overcoming so much adversity, and then the things that kind of transpire in your life, excuse me. At the end of the day, football is a game. And so when I go out there on the field, I want my kids to have confidence in me like I have confidence in them. And so the whole going forward on fourth down, which, I've tapered off in kind of a last couple of years, a little bit, but, we want to be aggressive. And so, when you coach this game and, you've had some moments in your life where, you've had to overcome some things, you coach with no fear, and so you try to trust your gut. If you feel like some way you trust your preparation, the work that you put in throughout the week, knowing that, hey, we play the game of football because if they didn't want you to have 4 downs, they wouldn't have given them to you. So we want to take advantage of all 4 downs as we're playing an aggressive style of ball.
Yes, sir. Now I'm looking around the office and I see titles. How many district titles have you won since you've been in Miller?
So since I've been in Miller, just finished 8. We won 3 district championships. We've been in the playoffs the last 6 out of 8 years. We haven't gone out before the second round in all those 8 years out of the playoffs. We've been in the third round twice, and we've been in the fourth round 3 times, 3 out of the last 5 years. So we've been one game away from playing for a state championship the last 3 out of 5 years. So we're itching to kick the door down and get over the hump so we can be playing the last week of the football season.
Yes, sir. Now, give me 2 of the best quarterbacks that you've coached. I won't try to label a best quarterback, but 2 of the best that you've coached.
Man, you gonna put me in man, that's tough, man. I've coached some really good quarterbacks, man, and it's hard to put a best title on who's the best, man. They've all been good. They've all had their knack of what they bring to the table. I think just on the surface, if you're just looking at here at Miller, of course Andrew Body pops out to you. Great character kid. He's built with the right stuff. You still see him having success. Can make plays with his feet. He's able to extend plays. Off schedule stuff, and then can throw a pretty ball, like the way the ball came off his hand. He was a winner. And so at the quarterback position, you got to have that guy who knows how to win and, is a leader of men in that locker room. And, like I say, then you look at Trevor Long and another good one that's come through here. He just graduated, actually broke Andrew's single season touchdown record, I think last year. Kid made of all the right stuff, salutatorian, just a heck of a player. For us, and we had a lot of success with him. 2 out of 3 years that we've been in the playoffs, he's a regional final quarterback. So, come from a great family and what have you as well. And then, I got to throw a third in there, man. Like I said, I've coached some good ones. The one is Jaden Brown. Jaden, his sophomore year came in through for 3,800 yards, 38 touchdowns as a sophomore, following up behind Andrew. Great kid. Extend plays with his feet, can make all the throws. So, but like I said, it's hard to just say put 2 in there because I've coached a lot of really good quarterbacks. Spencer Manuel, that was at King back in the day. Coached some good ones at Alice. So, we've always had some good quarterbacks for sure.
All right. Now, Roger Taylor, talk to us about coaching Roger.
Roger or Broderick?
Broderick. Yeah.
Man, I tell you, man, Broderick is a dang player, man. I tell you, he don't talk much. I tell you what, man, over the 4 years I coached him, man, if I had like 7 or 8 conversations with him, man, that was 7 or 8 too many. Man, he just very blue collar, come to work every single day, ready to work, didn't do a whole lot of talking, didn't have to be the loudest one in the room, but his preparation, how he went about his daily business from in the classroom to in the locker room to out on the field. He was a silent leader. Like I said, didn't do a lot of talking. Lots of times the loudest ones in the room, they're really the most softest ones. You know what I'm saying? He was the one that he brought his lunch pail every single day. He was ready to work. And you just knew the ball in his hand. He was special. The cat can make some plays with his feet. Ability to get outside of the backfield and catch the ball in the throw game, and then if he caught any crease and he got out of the open, it was goodbye. He was going to the house. So amazing speed, and I'm happy that he's doing really good right now. I talked to his college coach last week, and he's put on 10 pounds down there, and he's having a really good camp this summer. Really excited about what he's going to do in the future.
Oh, really? Shout out to Broderick. Now the playoffs, what's going through the coach's mind the first week of the first playoff game?
Man, so it's a grind. So we schedule tough around here, right? So, we really break our seasons into really 3s, So we have a preseason where, where we play our non-district ball games. And so we always schedule tough in non-district, right? So you got to understand your body's going to go through playing tough teams, for the first part of your non-district schedule. And so making sure kids are healthy and what that grind looks like. And then you get to your district schedule where everything counts, so to speak. So there's an added pressure that comes with, playing in district. And then if you're fortunate enough to make it to the playoffs, Now it even heightens even more because now you have everybody in the state. I always tell them, 64 teams start off in the region, but after the first week, there will be only 32 teams left. That gets cut in half, and so everybody's trying to make it to the ultimate goal of playing at state. And so your margin for error, your attention to detail is so much greater in the first round of the playoffs. And so if you prepare it the right way, from winter conditions, to spring to summer to beginning of fall camp 2 days, and you really done right by these kids as far as getting them prepared. Then in the playoffs, now it's time to be playing your best ball in late November, early December.
Yes, sir. Now, some of the top players that we can look for on the team this year.
Man, it's a ton of them, man. Like I said, I think if I start calling a ton of names, I'll miss somebody. But just who jumps off at the table, of course, Roderick's he'll be a 4-year letterman for us this year coming in, and so he's played a lot of ball, had a lot of success. Dexter Brantley. Dexter is a player. He just kind of scratched the surface of what I think he's really going to do this year as a sophomore. Last year as a freshman, he came in late and did some good stuff. But we're looking forward to him doing some special things. Isaiah Gidry out there on the edge, another kid that when Corey went down to the 4th round of the playoffs in the first round, Isaiah came in there. I think he ended up catching for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns as a sophomore. So everybody's like, where'd this kid come from? Like, he's sitting behind Corey. Corey's a baller. But he's ready to take the next step. On defensive line, we got Deion Jones, played as a freshman. Really excited about him. He's had a really good summer. He's been on the camp circuit. Texas Tech and some other schools have called about him. Think he's going to be a player for us. And then our Jaden Vela, inside backer, played a lot of ball for us. All South Texas kid coming back, linebacker, and Espen Cole. And then I can't forget about Khalil Davis, safety. Had 5 interceptions last year. We call him Florida. Kid is a baller. Ball hawk, goes and gets the ball out the air. And so it's many more, you know what I'm saying? But those are just kind of guys that are off the top of my head.
Okay, now if you had one gift you can give a player, would you give him book sense or talent?
Man, I would tell you what, man, book sense, because, book sense and common sense. Let me tell you that. You're going to need both of those in life. Talent is only going to take you so far. As an athlete, man, these bodies get old, man, so we can't move like we used to move and can't play the game like we used to play. But if you learn the game, if you learn your skill and your trade from an intellectual standpoint, that's going to take you for the rest of your life, when you got to feed your family and what have you. And so, to me, that's the greatest thing I can give a kid. I tell them all the time, man, if all I teach you is how to throw a football or catch a football or how to run a route or how to tackle, then I failed you. You know what I'm saying? I want that when you're 35 years old, you got a family, you got kids, you got a spouse, that depending on you get up every single day and go to work so that you can provide for the family. That's what I'm more important at. Are you a good son? Are you a good husband? Are you a good father when you grow up? That to me, that's the most important thing that you can give these young men.
Yes, sir. Now, assistant coaches and the importance of having assistant coaches.
Man, listen, like I said earlier, man, that's where it, we are not successful at Miller without my assistant coaches. Those guys work hard. The Miller is a brand now, so a lot of the times when I'm out branding the program or I'm in meetings, because I'm not just the head football coach, I'm the athletic coordinator. So I supervise all the athletics here, and then I have 3 feeder middle schools that I supervise as well. So you have to have guys inside of that room over there that are going to share your vision and they're not going to be trying to cut holes in the boat. For me, you got to be aligned. That's how you have success, is that everybody, not that you all always agree, but when we shut that door and we go out there, we're all aligned and we're all on the same page. And then the kid's going to see that as well. And so I have some really, really good assistants, some guys that have been here with me since I got here 8 years ago. And so they're the reason why we've had success. I get to be on the news and get to be the face of it, but those guys are really the guys that make this whole thing work.
Shout out to the assistant coaches. Now, do you have any plans to coach at another level, college or pros?
Man, one day I did. You know, there was a time that I did, but man, I'm in a great situation, great community. You know, right now it's just about being a great husband, being a great father. You know, that's the most important thing to me. You know, having my daughter here in Miller is a joy. You know, those are the moments that you can't get back. You know, you can coach football on the moon, I tell people, but what you cannot get back is that time to watch your kids grow up and be a part of their lives and be impactful. So right now, I just enjoy coming and watching her play volleyball here at Miller, and you know, riding home with her after school, and having those conversations and see how her day went, and being able to support her, and then seeing my sons come on the football field afterwards, they're little, and come run and get to hug them, and just be that dad and stuff. So you know, that's what's important to me right now. After she graduates, you know, who knows? But you know, definitely, you know, enjoying what I'm doing.
I'm ready now. Before we get out of here, give a couple of shout outs to some people that probably didn't know Coach remembers you were standing back there when I needed that extra push. That I've been in your corner since, we could say, from high school to the coaching career.
Man, you know, so Coach Richard Jackson, you know, that was my coach in high school, man, and he taught me so much more about just life than football, and even basketball when I played for him. And still to this day, we're really close. He checks on me from time to time, but yeah, he's very impactful in my life. Willard Laster, he was one of the associate ministers at St. Matthew growing up. Man, he still comes to my games, and he'll find me, and I'll find him in the stands, and he always gives me the cut their neck gesture, you know, like don't let up, you know. But it's so many people that have been impactful in my life. My mom, you know, growing up, you know, she's my rock, she's my hero. I watched her do it, and she's the strongest woman that I know, and so yeah, man, like I said, it's tons of people in this profession that I've been blessed to be around and have the privilege to do that. Specifically in the Miller community, David Flores is a really good guy that's taken me up underneath his wing. He's been great for this community. You know, you look at him and Mike Pusley and I started calling names. The late Danny Alexander, he's another good one that really took me up underneath his wing, and you know, before he passed away. So it's just tons of people. My superintendent gave me an opportunity. You know, Dr. Hernandez. You know, I wouldn't be in this position without him, no doubt. And then you know, so it's just like I said, it's just a ton of people that I'm grateful for. You know, you're always gonna miss somebody, but you know, just the whole community that's really had my back and helped, you know, get this thing turned around.
All right, now we sure appreciate your time, and here on the Air Sports Network, we like to give you your flowers, you know, because you deserve it. I mean, best coach that we've seen come through Miller. I can't say in a long time, I can just say the best coach that we've seen come through Miller, man. And we appreciate everything you did for the youth, everything you continue to do. God bless you on your season, and hopefully we can get back in and get another interview, probably mid-season, get some of the players to sit down and talk. And we're trying to keep up with the Miller side of the game, because we all from Miller, once a buck, always a buck.
I tell you, man, well, last thing, man, before we go, big announcement coming at the beginning of next week. So, you know, just look out for it. I'll be posting it probably Monday and Tuesday of next week. So it'll be a big announcement coming. It's going to be great for the city.
And we sure appreciate your time, Coach.